Extra after a beautiful weekend and the start to the week. The chance for rain returns as we head into the final days of February. We're on your side with how long the rain is going to stick around and if the cooler weather will follow.
And we begin an update from the Alabama Forestry Commission on how many brush fires are impacting our state.
Plus, it's a leap year, and we talk about the science behind it and why they are so important.
WBRC Fox 6 News. First Alert Weather Extra starts now.
Tania, I got to say it. I know some may not be a fan of it warming up so soon, but I'm loving it.
Me too. Yeah. The only downside to today, Wes, is that it still smells like smoke outside.
Yeah.
All those fires. So if you are sensitive, you may want to stay indoors for this evening.
Yeah. Not only are we talking about pollen, now we got fires.
All of it affecting our air, man.
Yeah, I know. And the winds out of the south quite gusty, so that's not going to help things.
That's not helping.
Yeah. That's why these fires they're just getting out of hand in such a hurry, and that gusty wind is going to be a story tonight and tomorrow. That's one of the next big things that we're going to be talking about. You can see that breeze has picked up across the area. Going to have some gusts out there topping 30 miles per hour over the next 24 hours. I mean, look at this wind forecast here through tonight, and it's going to be whipping out there, but we're not expecting storms tonight or anything like that. It's just a very tight pressure gradient that's setting up. We got a system that's going to be passing to the north of us. We're going to see a front move in on Wednesday. A lot of fast changes here, so that's one of the reasons why. And it often, you go into March this time of the year, you start to see these windy conditions because you do end up with such a big change in temperatures. You see these big contrasts across the country, and that has a direct impact on pressure changes as well. But as we take a look here at the future wind gusts, you can see as we go through tonight and tomorrow, the gusts there over 30 miles per hour. This is 4 o'clock tomorrow, still showing wind speeds gusting up to 30 miles per hour. So tonight, throughout the day tomorrow, and tomorrow night, and I know for a lot of my friends out there, you may be thinking, I finally got a chance to break the boat out, do some fishing, and some nice warm weather. Not the best weather there to be out on the lake with winds gusty there out of the south like that. You can see around 10 o'clock Tuesday night showing winds gusting close to 40 around places like Aniana and Coleman. So it's not only during the day tomorrow, it's going to be through tomorrow night. And then we get into the day on Wednesday, and we're going to have a cold front that's going to move in, and then the temperatures tumble, and finally the winds start to back off there by Wednesday evening. So a lot of changes. And again, you can see that south wind is feeding into the risk for storms. At one point we were thinking we might see a risk for storms here across Alabama, but it looks like that risk is going to set up further northwest and north of us. And why? You can see the low pressure system, the main support with this, it's staying way north of Alabama. So in that situation, we don't have the necessary support to kick off a risk for severe weather for us, thankfully, but there will be parts of the country you can see that severe risk starting to ramp up there to the north for tomorrow. But the cold front reaches us on Wednesday, and by that point the system's a lot weaker, even though it's going to stay windy until that system moves on through. You can see start times on Wednesday around 7 a.m. That front moves in here across northwest areas, 8, 9, 10 a.m. in that time frame pushing through the heart of the area. But then notice by early afternoon the cold front's through here, so we warm up first off during the day, and then this cold front moves through Wednesday, and then the temperature falls. So we'll probably reach our high temperature during the morning because it's going to feel a lot colder there as we go into the evening. And again, you can see that system approaching. There's Wednesday, 9 a.m. Not a lot of rain to this as this moves south across the area, but there will be some more wet weather that comes back on Friday that we'll be talking about. One of the big things here, I want to show you this. This is where we have wildfires and that's been happening around the state, and you can see this is our smoke dispersion model, shows where the hazy air, you can see how it's moving south to north there from where some of those fires are happening. So if you do notice it's hazy where you are, it's likely due to some of those fires that's been happening. And now to more on the fire that's impacting West Jefferson County. Our Tristan Rupert joins us now with more. Tristan, could you tell us more about what we're seeing now here in the Bessemer area?
I can, Wes. Good evening. What I can tell you at the moment is that here just off the Lakeshore Parkway and really off Highway 150 in Bessemer, that fire that started this afternoon still going. Let me get out of the way and I'm going to get behind the camera and show you just what it looks like now. We gave you a glimpse earlier this afternoon at some of the smoke, but due to the night falling, we finally get a chance to look at some of the flames that seem to have picked up in the area. Let me see if I can get behind it and zoom in. Again, this is probably affecting about 10 acres now. This is what we're hearing from the fire department in the area. Let me see if I can grab focus. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Again, hard to do, but you get a glimpse of what we're dealing with. This apparently happening on an old mining property. We were told by somebody with the fire department that a tree trimming company has been dumping debris here. It caught fire today. They don't know if it was an attempt to get rid of the debris or if it was spontaneous in nature. Again, about 10 acres though. The Alabama Forestry Commission up there with heavy equipment doing what they can to contain this. Let me see if I can zoom out a little bit. Again, very, very dark. I'm gonna put some artificial light in here, some ISO, some gain, just to see if you can see the gray smoke right above the tree line right now. Again, this fire is still going on at the moment. One of the difficult things about this blaze is that it is up on a hill, so it's really hard to get water up there. We were told they were having some difficulty with that. They've had to shuttle water up to this area several times today. Again, they don't have it under control yet, but it hasn't gotten away from them. And they tell us no houses or buildings are in danger. That's the key thing here. Again, no houses or buildings in danger, but like y'all, undoubtedly, they're going to be watching that wind, expected to pick up perhaps in the next couple of days. As soon as we know more about this fire or the Hueytown fire that we dealt with over the weekend, we'll, of course, update you both on air and online. But again, we're working to gain more information and really figure out what perhaps started this blaze and, of course, monitor as the wind is going to be a problem in the days ahead. Wes, back to y'all.
All right, thanks a lot there, Tristan. And you're taking a look at the current wildfire map from the Alabama Forestry Commission. Right now, 102 fires are burning, but contained in Jefferson County. There are about 150 acres on fire. Crews are working to put the fires out completely, but do have them contained.
And across the nation, West, Colorado also experiencing wildfires as one continues to burn on the south end of the U.S. Air Force Academy. It's being called the West Monument Creek Fire and has already burned 170 acres. The fire broke out Sunday afternoon and as of this morning was only about 20% contained. Officials have sent out pre-evacuation notices to 2 communities as high winds continue to raise the fire danger across the state. So far, no homes are in danger. But these warmer temperatures across the country are preparing to be followed by severe weather. As the storm moving through the west is bringing heavy snow, as it moves east, it will bring the threat of severe weather to more than 53 million people from the mid-Mississippi Valley to the Great Lakes. This is due to the atmosphere becoming destabilized due to moist air moving in through the south. Storms will begin to develop through Tuesday and bring the threat of tornadoes, large hail, and damaging wind gusts. Flash flooding is also a major concern as heavy rain moves through. And as we prepare to head into the final days of February, it's important to remember the leap day that we'll see on Thursday. But do you know why these leap days only occur every 4 years? Fox News' Ted Lindner explains the importance behind it.
It's still the shortest month, but this year, February is an extra day longer, all thanks to 2024 being a leap year. And while it may not seem like a big deal, there's a whole lot of science and math behind why we alter our calendars.
The reason we have leap years is because the length of the year and the length of the day are not really related to each other.
A year is measured by the amount of time it takes the Earth to make one full trip around the sun. According to NASA, that takes about 365 days, 6 hours, and 9 minutes.
In order to keep the calendar synced up with things like the seasons, particularly when the beginning of spring is and the beginning of fall, the equinoxes, we have to make a correction to the calendar.
And if we didn't have leap years, life as we know it would look a lot different.
What would happen is eventually the calendar would get out of sync with the seasons. So we would like to have the start of spring be in March, and if we didn't have the leap years, eventually the spring would start to drift and we'd start having the first day of spring be in January or October. The basic idea is that usually every 4 years you add an extra day to the calendar.
But in the distant future,
the length of the day is actually growing longer due to tidal effects from the moon. So eventually we won't need leap years anymore when the number of days in a year is exactly 365. That's going to happen in about something like 2 to 3 million years from now.
The next leap year won't be until 2028. Ted Lindner, Fox News.
And in 30 seconds, we take another check on radar as well as bring an interesting story out of Nevada that'll leave you wondering about the wonders of the earth. We'll be right back.
Well, we just took you live to Bessemer, where we have one of those fires that we've been monitoring, and it's been quite active there around the Bessemer area. I just wanted to show you that our First Alert AccuTrack system, we're actually picking that up. And just to show you, here's Brighton, Fairfield, there's the Bessemer area, and you can see the smoke with that is being transported off to the north here towards Adamsville, Colberg, Asipco areas there, Thomas, and Fultondale. So just giving you the first alert around, if you're noticing Fultondale points north there, it's kind of hazy. That's all related to that fire to the south. We got those winds out of the south, and that wind's going to stay gusty here, it looks like, through this evening. But just checking out the forecast overall, though, not a bad night out there. Let me just show you the Tuesday forecast. We have highs nearing 80 degrees during the afternoon, just a 20% chance for a few showers, greater chance of that happening tomorrow in areas to the north. And again, you can see those winds quite gusty, especially into the afternoon. And we're going to switch gears now and talk about this week's moment in science, and it involves Steamboat Hot Springs in Nevada, where full steaming geysers are happening, but they haven't been seen since the early 1900s, which is why scientists are kind of puzzled that they've been resurfacing in just the last few months. Ben Margot has more on what could be causing it.
A crack in the earth, scalding hot water with that rotten egg smell bubbling up and out.
208 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's essentially boiling at this altitude.
What's going on is a scientific phenomenon baffling the experts.
Really, it's a mystery. We don't.
Especially fascinating for nuclear physicist Taylor Wilson is that less than a year ago, a blip in geologic time, this was just dirt. But today, near the Steamboat Hot Springs Spa in South Reno, it's boiling back to life.
It's incredible. You know, most people thought that this geyser field had died, and now it's starting to reemerge.
The area was once home to the third largest geyser in the United States, erupting 60 to 80 feet in the air.
In the late 1800s, the early 1900s, if you were riding your horse, you would have seen water erupting similar to this all along this terrace. Hot springs, geysers, mud pots, bubbling, and you know, that's something that drew people from all over the world.
Including none other than Mark Twain. He said the noise sounded like a steamboat, hence the name. In the mid-1900s, the surface activity faded, but a local doctor bought the land and dug a well so people could still bathe in the mineral-rich water for healing and relaxation.
It's kind of a joke around here that we like to call it the dragon.
Kayla Ward is the manager at the hot springs, where today people go to soak.
This year in particular, I've seen the most uptick that I have seen out here, and people who've lived on property, they've seen new fumaroles popping up that have just never been here.
Like this hole that opened up just in the last few weeks, and this small puddle emerging from underneath a paved road.
And again, nature had other plans, and you can see that's very hot water, you know, essentially boiling water coming right out of the asphalt.
So why here, and why now? Wilson says Nevada is the perfect spot, positioned next to two moving tectonic plates.
In western Nevada, the crust is thin enough and that magma is close enough to the surface that it can heat the groundwater as it enters deep into the earth along these fractures.
As for why now, that's still a mystery, but Wilson has a few theories.
And so there's an active earthquake swarm centered not much more than a mile that way. That, combined with the big winter we had last year, has probably raised the water table and put hydraulic pressure on the hydrology of the system. Could even be the operation of the geothermal power plant as they change the dynamics of the operation of the plant.
He and others will continue to study the why, and in the meantime marvel at our ever-changing planet.
I think your average person that lives in Reno has no idea as they drive by how active the earth is, just, literally right below their feet.
In Reno, Ben Marjot reporting.
Well, you are watching First Alert Weather Extra. Appreciate you staying with us here. Lovely view out there. This just in from the Hayden area. I want to thank Thomas for sharing that lovely Monday sunset. The sky just really showing off this evening. It's been a gorgeous start to the week, although quite windy. And we're coming off of a nice weekend. Saturday was kind of windy. As we check in now, Mickey Ferguson joins us with some of the scenes that we received from around the state.
Hey, we had some photos. Viewers submitted photos on our First Alert weather app over the weekend of this bright, brilliant full moon that came into play. This is from Gary Ernest, and we had some good visibility of the moon over the weekend with those clear skies. Diane Nesbitt sent in the moon pictures there this weekend. Looking very, very nice. We got the snow moon over Adger, Alabama. It's called the snow moon, the full moon in February. So Tina Anderson sent that in. Typically, you're going to have snow in February with that full moon. But, ooh, see that bright light at the beginning of that? That was a shooting star. Early Sunday morning, sent in by a guy named Steve. So, Steve, thank you for sending that in. That was kind of cool to see. Little shooting star. I'm not sure where that was. And we just have some good-looking sunset views as well, sent in through our First Alert weather app. Donna Sorensen sent this in from Pell City. A lovely view. Looked like the lake in the background there. And this is, again, sent in by Donna Sorensen. Did I say that wrong? I think I said Dinah. Anyway, Rebecca, thank you for that sunset view in Fairview, Alabama, and it is a fair view. If you want to send in your pictures or videos, you just go to our First Alert Weather app, free download. And once you download it, you just scroll down to the bottom and it'll say, send us your photos and videos. You just upload them from that location and we can feature some of those pictures and vids right here on Weather Extra. Happy Monday evening.
Hey, love those photos, Mickey, and you can share those again, as Mickey noted, on the First Alert Weather app. The best way to get those right here to us in the Weather Center. We love to share. Temperatures in the 70s still at this hour. It's all dry across the state. Some more clouds are going to be moving in tonight, and in addition, we've been talking about some of the hazy conditions in some areas due to some of those fires across the state. But the temperatures really tonight's going to stay on the milder side. You can see by 9 o'clock, a lot of 60s still on the map with the clouds moving in, the wind gusty out of the south. That's going to keep those temperatures elevated through tomorrow morning. Certainly milder for this time of the year, but temperatures like this have happened before in February. This is not anything unusual, although the temperatures are running certainly above average. You can see to the north a couple of showers showing up in some of the high resolution data early tomorrow morning. When you check in with Mickey early in the day, there could be a couple of showers out there on radar, but not a lot of wet weather. Most areas will stay dry tomorrow. We're keeping a 20% chance for a shower in the forecast. You can see by 4 o'clock in the afternoon, showing 80 at Utah, Tuscaloosa. Temperatures in the mid to upper 70s there for Pell City and Anniston. But that would certainly be the first day if we can see that 80-degree temperature there for Tuscaloosa. But even though it's warm, don't put away the jacket. And here's where it gets kind of interesting on Wednesday. Notice early in the day, we're seeing temperatures in the mid to upper 60s there, 7 to 8 o'clock. This system that's moving in, you know, last week we thought we might see a round of strong to severe storms. Well, this is it. You can see this has certainly it's moved in a better direction here, and that's because the main upper support with this system is going to stay further to the north. So we just end up with this ribbon of rain out ahead of a cold front, but it's going to be a strong cold front as it moves in. You can see right there by 9 a.m. after the front passes, the wind becomes northerly, and notice out ahead of this we see temperatures in the 60s. Notice by 10 a.m. it's moving on into East Alabama, but by lunchtime into the afternoon, temperature starts to fall down to 58 at Hamilton. There's a chance for some of us, especially to the north, we could be in the upper 40s by sunset time on Wednesday. So it's going to be a big drop off in those temperatures happening there for Wednesday. And once that system moves through, Thursday we catch a break, you can see during the day, but some rain's going to come back. The system kind of stalls out and we see another disturbance bring some wet weather, and you can see by 10 a.m. on Friday, looks like a good chance of rain. We'll actually receive more rain with the setup on Friday. A few scattered leftover showers possible Saturday and into Sunday, not total washouts, but this weekend it's going to stay kind of cloudy at times and still could see a few showers out there. The forecast stays rather unsettled, not only for the weekend, but next week you can see there a 60% chance for rain and thunderstorms. And beyond the 7-day, we're also talking about more rain and storms. And we'll have more after the break.